Chapter 1: Dawn of the Precursors. Imagine Earth long before humans ever walked its plains. Before Homo sapiens began to use tools or form languages, and even before our distant ancestors emerged from the oceans. This was a world teeming with life, where different creatures dominated the land, sea, and sky. Now consider this. What if another species, immensely intelligent and capable, had evolved and flourished during that time, shaping the world in ways we can only begin to imagine today? Scientists have long pondered the possibilities of intelligent life forms existing before humans. It's a question as captivating as it is complex. To entertain this notion, we need to delve into the ancient past, piecing together clues and asking ourselves important questions. One of the earliest epochs we start to explore is the Devonian period, often referred to as the Age of Fishes, which dates back roughly 419 to 359 million years ago. During this time, vast oceans teemed with a variety of marine life. Jawed fish appeared, while the first forests started to take root on land. If intelligence were to rise, might it have originated in water? Perhaps among the sophisticated and diverse predators swimming beneath the waves. Consider cephalopods, such as modern octopuses, cuttlefish, and squid. These creatures fascinate scientists because of their remarkable intelligence, complex nervous systems, and ability to solve problems. They offer a glimpse into how intelligence can manifest in forms wildly different from the primates we know today. Could an advanced form of cephalopod have explored the depths, constructing underwater societies and developing technologies adapted for a life beneath the sea millions of years ago? Fast forward to the Mesozoic era, also known as the Age of Reptiles, spanning about 180 million years until the fateful asteroid impact that would bring about the dinosaurs' end. The most famous inhabitants of this time were the dinosaurs, but they were not the only creatures braving the elements. In concert with them, birds began to diverge from their dinosaur ancestors, growing into the animals we see today. Meanwhile, mammals were emerging as small, furtive creatures. But let's linger on a speculative point. What if some dinosaur or avian species had developed higher cognitive skills akin to ours? Birds like corvids and parrots have shown cognitive abilities that rival primates in many aspects. They use tools, understand the concept of tomorrow, and plan accordingly, flying through life with remarkable memory and adaptability. Might an ancestor of one of these bird families have once reached or even exceeded these intellectual heights in prehistoric times? Of course, searching for evidence of such predecessors brings us to the science of paleontology. Fossil records offer tantalizing but incomplete stories from the past. Bones, feathers, and shells leave clues about anatomy, growth, and sometimes behavior. However, fossils rarely capture the entirety of a creature's life, what it thought, how it communicated, what it built. Ancient intelligence, if it ever existed in non-human forms, would likely be most elusive in such records. Yet, evidence might come through in the layout of nests, odd tool usage marks, or patterns left on rocks that collapsed to dust through the ages. The discovery of tools dating back over 3 million years has fundamentally altered our understanding of prehistoric life. Old One tools, attributed to early human ancestors like Homo habilis, are often simple, sharp edges created by striking stones together. But what if tools much older, attributed to a creature that predated even our early ancestors, were to be unearthed in some hidden layer? How would that change our story of the past? Experts, like anthropologists and archaeologists, dedicate their lives to sifting through sand, dirt, and rock for answers, analyzing thousands of fragments in their search for eureka moments. Their work reminds us of the vastness of human history, our unseen past, and the incredible complexity of evolution. Sometimes, a mere bone fragment or unusual rock will ignite debates that can lead to breakthroughs about how life evolved on Earth. Chemistry and physics also play their parts in such exploration. Through isotope analysis and radiometric dating, scientists can determine the ages of fossils and changes in climate over time. Given the right conditions, we might uncover evidence features or remnants of ancient technologies that point toward an early intelligent species. But this brings us back full circle to our initial inquiry. The possibilities of intelligence developing, thriving, and leaving its mark on the world must be adequately equipped with evidence to escalate beyond enthralling ideas into an accepted part of history. Our world today is a tapestry woven from countless stories, spun out of the lives of species that have come and gone. Each discovery fills in a piece of this grand puzzle. By contemplating the existence of such intellectual forerunners, our appreciation for the delicate and unlikely emergence of intelligence is deepened. We underscore the idea that intelligence, whether terrestrial or otherwise, might manifest in forms we have yet to conceive or find. Could evidence of a predating intelligent species still lie hidden, waiting for the right curious minds to uncover it? How would our understanding of life's complexity shift if we could ever answer this decisively? Until we discover more, these questions sit at the fascinating frontier, urging us forward with eager minds and digging hands. The universe's history, our history, has layers yet untouched. And who knows what wonders are still waiting beneath the surface, waiting to tell us more about the world of yesteryears. Chapter 2. Rival minds arise. Imagine for a moment a world where an intelligent species arose long before humans ever walked the earth. We're not talking about a small leap in time, but instead thousands, possibly even millions of years earlier. This world might look astonishingly different from the one we know now. The development of another intelligent species raises a host of fascinating questions. How would they have changed the land, the sea, and the sky? And perhaps, even more tantalizing, how would they have shaped the evolution of our ancestors and, by extension, ourselves? It is vital to establish a timeline and understand the conditions that foster the development of intelligence. Roughly 66 million years ago, a catastrophic event emptied the planet of non-avian dinosaurs, paving the way for mammals to dominate. But what if, in a tucked-away corner of the world, a different branch of life, member of the reptilian or terrestrial cephalopod family, for instance, started to evolve complex social structures, language, and tools? Before diving into what might have been, let's root ourselves in what we know about how intelligence evolved here on Earth. Humans are part of a long history of cognitive development. Intelligence is the product of a complex set of factors: increasing brain size, social interaction, and the demands of survival. Key development stages, like bipedalism, the use of fire, and eventually language, these didn't just happen by chance. They were driven by environmental changes, predator-prey dynamics, and the need to adapt rapidly to new conditions. Now, take the great apes as an example of how diverse paths could have sprouted different kinds of intelligence. The concept of convergent evolution, where similar traits develop independently in species of different lineages, poses exciting scenarios. Think about the octopus, a creature with a highly discrete form of intelligence, showing problem-solving skills and impressive memory. Their neural structures, organized differently from our own, hint at the varied ways intelligence could arise. Let's consider the land itself. Certain terrains may have been more suited to the development of complex life forms. The rich rainforests, open savannas, or even temperate coastlines might have provided the perfect environment for an ancient species to thrive and evolve. Prehistoric Earth was not static. Its ever-changing climates and landscapes could have formed natural laboratories for intelligent life to experiment with existence. If such a species developed, tools and artifacts from their civilization might lie hidden, perhaps confused for natural formations or misunderstood entirely. Archaeologists today work meticulously to piece together fragments of our own ancestors' stories, finding arrowheads, cave paintings, and pottery shards. Given the potential age of this prior intelligent species, their artifacts might have long since turned to dust, or perhaps some yet unidentified materials still linger, waiting to be discovered. Fossils and geological records, the main evidence of past life and environmental conditions, might provide clues. Fossil records reveal mass extinction events, climate changes, and shifts in ecosystems that could support the rise of an intelligent species. The absence or presence of certain elements and isotopes in the geological timeline tells us stories about ancient atmospheres and ocean compositions. It's like peeling back layers of a very old onion, an unpredictable but ultimately rewarding process. There is also the tantalizing possibility of bioindicators, organic compounds detectable in soil or rock layers, hinting at past biological activity that didn't match known forms. Suppose remains of intricate structures turn out to be older than any known human tool-making epoch. In that case, skepticism might turn into worldwide scientific investigation, reshaping our understanding of intelligence. When scientists discovered the Denisovans, a now extinct member of the Homo genus, they knew almost immediately they were onto something significant. Through a small fragment of a finger bone found in a cave in Siberia, a whole new cousin in our family tree came to light. What other surprises might await us with a more advanced and ancient species? Experts today can analyze ancient DNA with unprecedented depth. Genetic sequencing could identify lineage traces back to this hypothetical advanced species, showing possible interbreeding. If intertwined with the human family tree, how would this affect our present-day genetic makeup and predispositions? All of this conjures up images of a world that once teemed with life, working under a different set of rules. A world where creatures we've never seen thought their own thoughts and imagined their own futures. As we unearth more truths about the past, their lives might be painted with broad strokes and vibrant colors across the grand canvas of Earth's history. Yet, every discovery leads to more questions. What would their society have been like? Did they communicate using something akin to language, or perhaps even more advanced methods, such as chemical signals or telepathy? How would they have tackled obstacles like disease, famine, and disaster? And if their species eventually faded into oblivion, what lessons might that impart on us? As we continue this journey of exploration and introspection, we are reminded that the search for knowledge is never ending. For now, our understanding is speculative, but grounded in scientific inquiry. The ultimate goal is to broaden our perspective, to recognize that intelligence may take myriad forms, and that the stories of our planet are far richer than we might have ever imagined. The more we share in this inquiry, the more we learn not only about possible past beings, but also about ourselves and what it truly means to be intelligent. Chapter 3: Ancient Habitat Dynamics. Picture a world long before humans walked the earth, teeming with life and rich with ecosystems that seem both familiar and strange. Imagine if during that time another intelligent species existed, one that had its own way of interacting with the environment. Exploring such a possibility requires us to dig into the past. into times when the Earth was just as alive and fascinating, but very different from today. The Earth's ancient habitats were shaped by forces much larger than we often consider. Tectonic shifts moved continents around like pieces on a chessboard. Ancient rivers carved valleys and gave life to all kinds of creatures. Vast forests appeared and disappeared. Ice ages came and went. These natural changes created habitats that were as diverse as they were volatile. Fossil records are like pieces of a grand ancient puzzle. They tell us about creatures that once roamed those lands. We have some mind-boggling facts, courtesy of paleontologists, who not only study these ancient bones but who also try to recreate the worlds they came from. For instance, about 250 million years ago, during the Permian period, the supercontinent Pangaea was home to an extraordinary array of life. Environments ranged from deserts to lush swamps, hosting life forms both gigantic and tiny. Biodiversity peaked during the late Devonian period, around 370 million years ago, which was prime time for fish to develop into early tetrapods, the first vertebrates to venture onto land. Did you know that, back then, the Earth's atmosphere had much higher oxygen levels, making it possible for insects and other creepy crawlers to reach sizes that would seem straight out of a sci-fi film? Imagine dragonflies with wingspans reaching nearly 70 centimeters. And what about the flora? Primitive plants dominated before flowering plants took over, greenery playing a crucial part in building habitats. Take a moment to think about the Carboniferous period, around 300 million years ago. During this time, vast swampy forests covered much of the land, filled with towering lycopsids and gigantic horsetails. These plants eventually turned into the coal deposits we rely on today. What if, within these vast, lush ecosystems, an intelligent species developed, one that interacted with these environments in a way that's recorded, yet only subtly, in the fossil record? While there's no definitive proof of such a species existing, pondering this can lead us down fascinating paths of contemplation. Consider the idea of evolution not as a straight line, but as a complex web with many branches, some of which we are only just beginning to explore. Now, biology tells us that intelligence can manifest in a variety of forms. Dolphins and chimpanzees show signs of complex social behaviors and problem-solving skills. Octopuses, too, exhibit an uncanny curiosity and intelligence, demonstrating that evolution can give rise to smart creatures in multiple ways. So, in a world of shifting continents and changing climates, what might have led an ancient species down the path of intelligence? How might they have communicated, hunted, or built structures? These are questions that boggle the mind and spark our curiosity. Archaeologists have discovered tantalizing clues that hint at complex societies in unexpected places. Megalithic sites around the world, sometimes older than the earliest human records, suggest the possibility of culturally advanced beings in prehistory, though currently there's little to link them to a non-human origin. As we uncover more from our past, technologies like ground-penetrating radar and sophisticated dating techniques open new windows into these ancient worlds. The clarity with which we can now see into the Earth's deep history is ever improving, allowing us to understand the context of these monumental discoveries more clearly. Experts often remain cautious, saying that the idea of a pre-human intelligent species remains purely speculative without concrete evidence. Many point out that while intriguing, our interpretation of ancient remains is constrained by how little we know, and there is a tendency to ascribe intelligence to patterns we find pleasing or mysterious. However, The scientific community is united in acknowledging that understanding past ecosystems helps us prepare for the future. Environmental changes then, as now, played a critical role in shaping life's trajectory. If we learn from these past dynamics, frankly, we could better anticipate the future. What we know now is just a part of a much larger story. Imagine natural historians measuring time in eons, peering through layers of rock that are like pages in a book, showing a species here and gone, and habitats transformed. Each discovery is a piece to a puzzle that is, perhaps, entirely unlike anything we've thought possible before. So while we may not yet have answers, these ancient habitats keep whispering secrets from their long-ago existence. Each fossil and discovery beckons with the promise of untold stories. It's like nature's very own detective game, waiting for keen explorers to piece it all together. And isn't that just marvelously exciting? Chapter 4: The Lost Civilizations. Imagine for a moment that we are not the first intelligent species to walk the earth. It's a captivating thought, isn't it? The idea that long before humans left their mark, another species might have built civilizations, developed their own cultures, and perhaps even knowledge systems. As we explore this intriguing possibility, let's consider how we could uncover traces of such ancient worlds hidden beneath layers of time. Scientists and archaeologists have long sought clues about the earliest inhabitants of our planet. Earth is around 4.5 billion years old, and Homo sapiens, our species, have been around for roughly 300,000 years. That leaves a vast stretch of time filled with potential for other stories to unfold. This possibility leads us to question what signs might still linger in the geological and fossil records. Our search begins with understanding how civilizations could leave footprints large enough to withstand the ravages of time. Normally, we think of ruins or tools as evidence. But after millions of years, physical structures would likely crumble. Organic materials like wood or fabric would decay, and entire cities could be buried under shifting earth. Yet, as humans, we know that advanced species tend to alter their environments significantly, leaving behind unique signatures. Astrobiologists and geologists have speculated that any intelligent industrial species might leave detectable traces in the planet's stratigraphy. This term refers to the layers of Earth that build up over time, each representing a different era. Within these layers, we find fossils, volcanic ash, and sometimes remnants of human activity, like plastic pollution. Interestingly, researchers have called the potential for such traces from a previously unknown civilization the Silurian hypothesis, named after the fictional reptilian species from Doctor Who, which humorously aligns with the idea. So what might we look for? The fossil record is a crucial piece, but its incompleteness poses a challenge. Fossils form under specific conditions, and only a fraction of living things ever become fossilized. Nonetheless, a technological civilization might leave distinct markers, perhaps through metal alloys, chemical alterations, or shifts in the isotopic composition of the Earth. For example, consider isotopes. These are variants of elements differing in neutron numbers. Humans have significantly altered atmospheric carbon by burning fossil fuels, which enriches certain carbon isotopes in well-identified layers. Similarly, a past civilization might have used energy sources affecting the environment in a way detectable millions of years later. Such isotopic signals, if present, could point directly to industrial activity. Deep in the ocean, sediment cores might also hold vital clues. Over time, these sediments accumulate, recording environmental changes. Even today, scientists use them to study past climates and major events like asteroid impacts or massive volcanic activity. Somewhere in this record could reside evidence of an extinct civilization's impact, perhaps an unusual spike in metals, plastics, or synthetics that don't fit naturally occurring patterns. Now, you may wonder, has any identified evidence hinted at this possibility? At present, mainstream science has not confirmed signs of another advanced species predating humans. However, researchers continue to push the boundaries of this question with open, yet cautious, minds. Exploration is what drives scientific discovery after all. It encourages us to revisit old assumptions and utilize new technologies. Imagine the advancements we've made. The use of remote sensing technology, satellites capable of unparalleled Earth monitoring, and sophisticated analytical tools that delve deeper into what has been mostly hidden from us. The collaborative efforts in these fields continue to broaden our understanding. Speaking of which, interdisciplinary approaches play a vital role here. Geologists, paleontologists, and archaeologists increasingly work together, drawing from one another's expertise. A wonderful example of this is the collaboration between astrobiologists and geochemists when analyzing possible life indicators on planets beyond Earth, which surprisingly gives insight into studying our own. While no definitive evidence of an earlier intelligent species on Earth exists today, examining the depths of possibility opens fascinating doors of inquiry. What sort of world might they have built? What would communication between species look like if time allowed such an interaction? These questions widen our imagination while emphasizing the importance of our participation in preserving Earth for future generations. As we delve deeper into our planet's history, it becomes evident that Earth's narrative is filled with more unknowns than knowns. Through careful research, respectful curiosity, and a quest for knowledge, we embrace not only our origins but the reality that Earth is, and always has been, a world in flux, molding, changing, and concealing secrets we may someday uncover. Let's continue to explore with an open heart and mind, piecing together the beautiful puzzle of Earth's mysteries, known and unknown. Chapter 5: Tools, Tech, and Traditions. Imagine a world where an intelligent species developed tools and technology long before humans ever walked the Earth. This is the focus of our exploration today. Our story begins with early species that might have looked up at the sky with curiosity and worked together to improve their lives. Much like humans did ages later, it's important to understand what tools and technology mean in this context. For us, tools are objects used to make tasks easier. They might be crafted from materials found in nature, like stones or bones, reshaped for specific purposes. Technology, on the other hand, is the application of knowledge to create something useful or solve problems. It can range from crafting a simple spear to developing complex machinery. Among the earliest known toolmakers on Earth are the species related to Homo habilis, a distant human ancestor. Living around 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago, they crafted what's known as the Old Awan tools. These were simple stone tools with sharp edges used for cutting and processing food. Their development marked a pivotal moment in history, as it showed the ability to plan and conceptualize beyond immediate physical tasks. But what if another species had similar abilities even before Homo habilis existed? Imagine an environment where a now extinct species harnessed the resources around them. They might have used sticks as levers, shaped stones for specific purposes, or even developed early forms of arrows. This could have occurred in isolated regions, where evidence might still be buried under layers of time. Consider the remarkable case of octopuses today. These fascinating creatures display intelligence in unexpected ways, using coconut shells as a form of shelter or protection in the wild. Although octopuses lack the collaborative societal structures needed to pass knowledge across generations like early humans, their behavior sparks questions about other similar species in the prehistoric world. Archaeological findings often uncover surprising details about early human technology, suggesting an evolution of ideas and practices. For instance, fire was not just a source of warmth, but transformed the way food was prepared, improving nutrition, and was used as a tool for protection against predators. If another species had discovered and harnessed fire, it could have significantly altered their evolutionary path in ways we still can't fully comprehend. Evidence of ancient cities, like Cataluk in modern-day Turkey, showcases complex societies with organized building structures and shared religious practices as far back as 9,000 years ago. Although later than our hypothetical advanced species, it provides a glimpse into how communities could function with shared goals and practices. In the context of our advanced pre-human species, imagine the development of language as a tool, a means to share information, ideas, and warnings about dangers. Language itself is a fascinating aspect of evolution that we are just beginning to understand fully. The communication systems of animals today, like dolphins, vocalizations, or the dance of bees, could hint at early forms of communication used by different species millions of years ago. When thinking about technology, consider how natural resources shape its development. Early humans used obsidian, a naturally occurring volcanic glass, to create sharp tools with precision. If another species had similarly identified and exploited such resources, it would suggest a level of sophistication that we have only just begun to appreciate in our own past. What if they developed trade systems for bartering essential items or even knowledge? The emergence of trade routes during human history spurred cultural exchanges, leading to advancements in agriculture, navigation, and more. Evidence of early trade systems in pre-human times would completely alter our understanding of ancient societies and their capabilities. Consider the cultural traditions, too, that emerge from intelligent behaviors. Burial practices, if found in early species, might indicate complex thoughts on life, death, and perhaps an early form of spirituality or belief systems. Experts have long studied Neanderthal sites where evidence suggests symbolic thought, something earlier species might have possessed, too. The exciting part of diving into such a dense and speculative topic is the abundant opportunity for future discoveries. The fields of anthropology and archaeology are continually evolving, always finding nuanced details that shift our understanding of early life forms. As we uncover more fossils, artifacts, and ancient sites, we edge closer to answering these intriguing questions about the past. Next time you ponder the distant past, consider what ancient secrets are still held in the earth, waiting to reveal themselves. These explorations into tools, technology, and the rise of early intelligence shape not just our understanding of history, but of our own potential and origins as well. In this search, every small finding opens new doors, reminding us how much there is yet to discover and learn. Chapter 6: Language, the First Tongues. Imagine a world teeming with life, much like our own, yet vastly different in its inhabitants and the order of who ruled the skies, the seas, and the lands. In this imaginary world, another species, long before humans ever walked the earth, developed complex languages that shaped their societies and drove their innovation. This chapter embarks on an exploration of what might have happened if such an intelligent species preceded us, focusing specifically on the emergence and evolution of spoken language. Language, as we know it, is one of the most remarkable traits distinguishing humans from other animals. Yet, the inception of language is less about the sudden appearance of a spark and more like the slow, patient cultivation of a flame that gradually illuminated paths of communication, understanding, and cooperation. But what if languages were first sounded by creatures who are now silent in history? Communication is essential for any species wishing to thrive. From the ants gossiping through chemical trails to the whales singing across ocean expanses. Much like the early humans, our intelligent predecessor might have started with simple forms of communications, gestures, facial expressions, and perhaps even simple vocalizations. Over time, these would evolve into more complex verbal expressions, possibly surpassing what even modern humans achieve now. Consider the richness of our modern languages, filled with thousands of words and complex grammar symbols, layered with thoughts, stacked like bricks to construct the broad edifices of literature, science, and philosophy. The imagined species might have too developed a linguistic structure, textured and nuanced, tailored to their needs and environment. Maybe they possessed a deep understanding of rhythm and tone, conveying emotions and intentions in ways we're only beginning to explore through music and art. Where would such a language have taken them? Historically, language has been the anchor for societal growth and technological advancement. It allows knowledge to transcend generations and ensures continuity even when individual memories fade. With a richly developed language, the predecessors could have shared experiences, taught skills, and created cultural narratives, connecting the past with the present. Evidence from our own evolutionary studies suggests a slow journey from basic vocalizations to sophisticated speech. In humans, the FOXP2 gene plays a crucial role in speech and language development. Is it plausible that our imaginative predecessors might have had similar genetic traits that allowed them to develop advanced forms of communication? Think about the role symbols and abstract thinking play. Symbols allow for a shared understanding of concepts that don't have physical form, like justice, beauty, or freedom. They enable us to transcend immediate experiences and conceptualize ideas. Our ancient species might have evolved symbolic thought, using primitive art to convey complex tales and truths. Early carvings or cave paintings, possibly much older than those of our own prehistoric ancestors, could have been their projection of language onto the canvas of reality. Archaeologists have found startling evidence that even modern humans have used tools and symbols in ways once thought impossible for early hominids. The discovery of complex symbolic artifacts from hundreds of thousands of years ago shows that the seeds of language were sown early in our evolutionary journey. Could it be that another species planted these seeds even before us? Fossils and cave findings serve as a testament to language's depth and complexity in human history. However, these silent witnesses often only hint at the vibrancy of life they once surrounded. Imagine an archaeological find from this hypothetical predecessor species. Perhaps fossils with peculiar wear on their bones, suggesting vocal communication, or artifacts bearing engraved marks, a primitive script. Insights like these could unravel stories woven in the secret language of a forgotten past, hinting at the intellectual leaps they might have taken and the societies they might have built. Linguists today wrestle with understanding the origin and evolution of human language. Yet, intriguingly, they've identified certain features common to all languages, called linguistic universals. They include structural traits, like the use of nouns and verbs, or patterns of subject-object order. It's tantalizing to speculate that these might have been laid down by a far older tradition of language from a different intelligent race. Echoing faintly in the syntactic skeletons of modern tongues, language not only shapes societies but also molds perception. The principle of linguistic relativity suggests that the structure of a language affects its speaker's worldview. An ancient civilization's language, uniquely crafted to their experience of the world, might have endowed them with insights far different from ours. Would their understanding of time, space, human relationships, or nature bear striking contrasts to modern thought? Such a contemplation of ancient languages issues a broader challenge and intrigue around the question of why humans did eventually rise as the dominant species, while potentially another intelligent species before us did not continue or perhaps vanished altogether. Could it be that their linguistic advancements ultimately outpaced their adaptability? Reflecting on this imagined history encourages us to cherish and continue exploring our extraordinary capacity for language and communication. As human history demonstrates, language is at the heart of civilization, shapeshifting through epochs, dictating our stories, our knowledge, and our identity. While the idea of earlier intelligent beings reshaping our understanding of language history remains hypothetical, it undoubtedly leads us to revisit the fundamental and wondrous essence of human communication and exploration of not just what was, but also what could have been. Chapter 7. Crossing Interstellar Thresholds. Imagine a time before human history as we know it. Picture a universe where another intelligent species reached the stars long before humans could even dream of leaving this planet. It might seem like science fiction, but if we look closely and ask the right questions, we might uncover some intriguing possibilities about what such a world could be like. In our current understanding of the universe, traveling between stars remains one of humanity's greatest challenges. The vast distances involved are hard to comprehend. Our closest neighboring star, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. That's more than 25 trillion miles. Even with our fastest spacecraft, it would take tens of thousands of years to reach it. But what if another species, more advanced than us, had already tackled these mind-boggling challenges? To get there, first, we have to consider the building blocks of life and intelligence, much like the scientific work done by people studying astrobiology. This field examines the conditions needed for life and how it might develop on different planets. Earth, blessed with water, the right climate, and all the essential elements, spawned intelligent life in the form of humans. But planets around other stars might also offer those same opportunities to life forms very different from us. If a planet similar to Earth was stable for long enough, it could be the cradle of a species capable of technological wonders we can barely imagine. With this in mind, let's think about what it means to overcome the barriers of interstellar travel. As physicists and engineers have pointed out, there are tremendous challenges. The key scientific hurdle is conquering the immense energy requirements. Developing the technology for such travel would first necessitate an advanced understanding of physics far beyond our own, perhaps even discovering and utilizing forms of energy we can only theorize about today. Some scientists propose that advanced civilizations might harness what's known as breakthrough starshot technology, tiny spacecraft powered by lasers. Though still in the conceptual stage, this idea could one day enable us to send probes to nearby stars. It's exciting to think that a species far ahead of us in terms of development might have perfected a similar technology thousands or even millions of years ago. Then there's the issue of time. Travel across these distances would require lifespans far longer than a human's. if undertaken at speeds feasible today. Perhaps this hypothetical advanced species developed ways to extend their lives, using biotechnology to slow aging or even achieving some form of digital immortality, uploading their consciousness into cybernetic systems that withstand the ages. Interactions with other stars would require not just technology, but also a precise understanding of various scientific disciplines, such as stellar navigation or understanding the cosmic radiation that fills interstellar space. Scientists today work on shielding humans from such radiation for our short trips. But an ancient species might have developed materials or strategies we haven't even dreamed of yet. Our current knowledge of the universe, informed by tools like the Hubble Space Telescope and future missions like the James Webb Space Telescope, continues to grow. We find more evidence that planets around other stars may have the right conditions for life. Through spectrometry, we can even begin to identify if planets have atmospheres with the chemical fingerprints of life. Yet, the idea that we're the first intelligent species to contemplate traveling beyond our solar system still holds. But what if we're wrong? What if the signs of a past interstellar civilization are there, waiting for us to decipher them? If such a civilization existed, they might have left behind subtle clues of their journey across the stars. Even here on Earth, modern astrobiologists often discuss the concept of technosignatures, evidence of technology that could signal the presence of extraterrestrial life. The discovery of unnatural satellite objects orbiting another planet or unexplained anomalies in the light pattern of distant stars could serve as a hint. And what about bygone civilizations on Earth? Consider the intriguing discoveries of ancient structures from the pyramids of Egypt to the megaliths of Stonehenge. While these were undoubtedly human-made, they fuel our imaginations about the past. Could there be alien structures elsewhere in the galaxy pointing to an early, advanced species? The search for these answers could be as foundational today as looking into fossils of early human species once was. The real question might not be whether this has happened, but if and how we would recognize such an achievement. Our understanding of the universe is a tiny window into something far greater. And it's possible that civilizations have come and gone, leaving only the faintest traces. Imagining a species that could successfully traverse the stars long before humanity hints at the vast potential still out there, waiting for discovery. This fantastical crafting of what-if scenarios helps propel scientific inquiry. It pushes researchers to ask critical questions and continue our exploration of the cosmos with awe and curiosity. As we unlock more of these cosmic secrets, perhaps one day, we'll find we're not the only ones to have gazed out into the stars and dreamed of crossing those incredible thresholds. Chapter 8. Cultural Clashes and Coexistence. Imagine a world where another intelligent species came into existence well before humans ever walked the earth. This idea might seem like pure fiction, yet it offers a fascinating perspective on evolution, cultural development, and the delicate dynamics that could unfold between species. Picture these beings with their own cultures, technologies, and societies flourishing on Earth long before us. While this scenario is not the actual history of our planet, it does allow us to explore how complex interactions might play out and influence the course of life. In this imagined scenario, let's think about how these early intelligent beings might have developed. They might have appeared during a different era on Earth, perhaps millions of years before humans. We can draw on our understanding of evolution to speculate about their potential characteristics. Evolutionary biologists tell us that intelligence evolves in response to specific environmental challenges. For instance, animals develop sharper senses, better problem-solving abilities, or more complex social structures to navigate their habitats successfully. One key to these beings' development of intelligence might have been the shape and function of their brains. Research into the brains of birds and mammals shows that brain size relative to body size, as well as brain organization, plays a crucial role in cognitive abilities. It's conceivable that our hypothetical species had brains with distinct but advanced features supporting their intelligence. Perhaps they had a keen memory, solving complex problems, or communicating with a sophisticated language system. Now, what if humans arose on a planet already inhabited by this intelligent species? We need to consider how such a coexistence could unfold. History on Earth shows us that cultural clashes and cooperation are both significant forces in shaping societies. When two or more groups with distinct cultural backgrounds come into contact, each faces the challenge of understanding and adapting to the others. Let's look at real-world historical examples that illustrate this. The meeting of Native Americans and European settlers serves as an impactful case. These interactions led to cultural exchanges, conflict, and deep changes in both societies. Some exchanges resulted in enriching both cultures, like the sharing of crops and technologies. However, these interactions also sparked conflict and misunderstanding, often with devastating effects on indigenous populations due to disease, warfare, and displacement. Similarly, if humans encountered a pre-existing intelligent species, the outcomes could vary widely. Our species might share advancements and learn from each other, leading to mutual growth and understanding. Language would be a critical tool here. Communication is often the bridge between misunderstandings and harmony. Linguists suggest that even small vocabulary exchanges can open up vast pathways of understanding. If our imaginary species had developed a rich language, deciphering it would be key to coexisting peacefully. To understand potential cooperation, we can observe how humans interact with other intelligent species on Earth today. Dolphins and primates, known for their intelligence and social structures, have been part of studies aiming to understand interspecies communication. Such studies demonstrate that cooperation across species boundaries is possible, with mutual benefits achievable through understanding and empathy. However, we must also consider possible discord. Similar to historical human experience, competition for resources could ignite tension. Changes to the environment, such as deforestation or pollution, would likely affect both species, necessitating a shared approach to ecological management. Anthropologists postulate that cultural adaptability, flexibility, and a willingness to compromise are critical in resolving conflicts. Would humans, or this hypothetical species, be willing to prioritize long-term coexistence over short-term gains? Scientific studies into cognitive psychology reveal that human perception of otherness is often shaped by human bias. Biases impact our ability to integrate with different cultures or ways of life. Our understanding of fear and prejudice, explored through social psychology, tells us that education and exposure significantly reduce these barriers and move us toward empathy and acceptance. Interestingly, the archaeological record, rich with insights into human history, could offer hints at such an imaginary interspecies relationship if evidence existed. Archaeologists often discover indicators of cultural transitions in ancient artifacts, burial practices, and constructions. If such an encounter happened, we might expect to find artifacts demonstrating a blend of both cultures or markers indicating trade and shared knowledge. While this scenario is speculative, it invites us to reflect on our shared responsibilities within the biosphere. Our imagined coexistence with another intelligent species compels us to consider how we might better interact with the world's biodiversity today. Climate challenges and environmental destruction are real-world issues that demand global cooperation, much like how two intelligent species might have to work together to ensure mutual survival. This thought experiment encourages us to ponder: are we as humans ready for a peaceful coexistence with life forms we don't yet fully understand? Would we extend the hand of cooperation or retreat into fear and rivalry? The possibility invites us to look inward and question how we can better share our world, whether it be with the Earth's current inhabitants or in some rich, hypothetical universe. Chapter 9. Extinction or Enlightenment. Imagine a world long before humans ever walked the Earth. It's a world full of sounds, sights, and smells that are both familiar and entirely alien. In this world, another intelligent species once thrived, a species that existed before the rise of humans. This is our focus today, to explore the concept of another advanced form of life that could have left its mark on our planet, if only knowing how to look for it. The idea of an earlier intelligent species might sound like the stuff of science fiction, but there are scientific principles we can apply to explore this question thoughtfully. First, let's understand what it means for a species to be considered intelligent. Intelligence isn't all about building cities or sending rockets to the moon. It's about the ability to solve problems, communicate, use tools, and, most importantly, adapt to changing surroundings. Could such a species have emerged millions of years ago, perhaps even coexisting with the dinosaurs? One key aspect to consider is the fossil record. Fossils are like a library of the past, helping scientists read Earth's history. But that library isn't complete. Fossilization is rare. For a creature to become fossilized, a series of fortunate events must occur: rapid burial, mineral-rich conditions, and lots of time. Even then, natural disasters, erosion, and other factors may erase evidence. This means there's a vast amount of our planet's history that is missing. Could this missing history hide traces of an ancient civilization, if we look at the fossil record through this lens? One compelling period would be the late Cretaceous, around 66 million years ago, just before the dinosaurs were wiped out. During this time, large-brained creatures known as troodontids roamed Earth. They were small, bird-like dinosaurs with keen senses and possibly problem-solving skills. Paleontologists marvel at their relatively large brain-to-body size ratio, suggesting they might have been quite smart. Although there is no direct evidence they developed a civilization, their intelligence remains a fascinating point of speculation within scientific discourse. Another angle of inquiry involves geochronology, the study of Earth's age and the timing of geological events. Could an ancient intelligent species have led an existence so long ago that geological processes, plate tectonics, volcanic eruptions, or climate changes erased their traces? Here, scientists consider the Silurian hypothesis, proposed by physicists Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt. This theory suggests that if an advanced civilization existed in the distant past, geological clues could be found in altered carbon layers, isotopic fingerprints, or unusual mineral deposits, markers of industrial activity. While none have been found that are inexplicably ancient, the hypothesis opens a door to viewing natural records as potential carriers of anthropogenic change, even from eons ago. Carbon-rich deposits more than 500 million years old, known as black shales, might be one area to search for these ancient clues. They form in environments low in oxygen, preserving organic material remarkably well. Researchers study these layers closely, looking for anomalies that might suggest an anthropogenic source. Perhaps the sudden appearance of certain metals or isotopes, not otherwise explainable by known natural processes, could hint at advanced, albeit ancient, industrial culture. Yet, as of now, no such evidence has been conclusively found. It's also helpful to think about signs of intelligence that might not fossilize easily. Technology might not have taken the form of towering buildings or concrete roads. Instead, it could have been more organic, leaving behind little more than faint traces. Take, for instance, the use of bioengineered organisms to manage ecosystems or transport goods. These kinds of technologies would make an imprint on the environment that might be very hard to detect today. To engage with this possibility, scientists are increasingly looking into geomorphic changes, subtle shifts in the landscape that might have been influenced by intelligent planning or activity. A crucial question is, what happened to this species? Why aren't they here today? Extinction is perhaps the greatest threat to all life. Of all species that ever existed on Earth, 99% are now extinct. Events like asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, or even climatic shifts have all led to mass extinctions. A single supernova could cast a wave of destruction across a region of space, adversely affecting life, regardless of its intelligence. Even if an intelligent species had emerged, these natural catastrophes might have spelled their end before any sustainable legacy could be left. However, contemplating prior intelligent species isn't just an imaginative exercise. It impacts our understanding of our own existence and future. If intelligence did arise once, it could complicate the grand narrative that humanity holds a unique position in the evolutionary story. This perspective encourages humility and prudence as we consider our impact on the world and legacy on Earth. Can we learn from an imagined past to navigate the challenges that define our presence and future on this pale blue dot? To conclude, while there's no definitive evidence to support the existence of an earlier intelligent species, science teaches us to keep our minds open, our methodologies sound, and our questions sharp. As we delve deeper into our planet's ancient history, not only through fossils, but through chemistry and geomorphology, we refine our understanding of what it means to be intelligent and how such intelligence might express itself under different evolutionary conditions. There's much to uncover, much to learn, and whenever we approach these mysteries with curiosity and reason, we edge closer to understanding the beautiful complexity of life here on Earth. Chapter 10: Legacy of the Forgotten Minds. Imagine a world where another species, long before humans took the stage, carved a path of intelligence that we are only beginning to understand. The modern landscape of archaeology and paleontology has traditionally painted a picture that humans are the peak of intelligence, developing complex societies, languages, and technologies. But what if there was another species that walked this earth, experiencing their own form of intelligence? Let's delve into this fascinating exploration of history, where clues hint at forgotten minds that may have come before us. In recent years, some intriguing discoveries have encouraged scientists to rethink the timeline of intelligence. For instance, in some sophisticated excavations, intricate tools have been found that predate the ones made by the earliest humans. These tools are manufactured with precision, much like you would expect in later human history, suggesting their creators possessed a thoughtful understanding of their environment. Many may argue these findings represent humans' early ancestors. Yet, some features do not quite fit the evolutionary path leading directly to Homo sapiens. Certain skeletal remains found alongside these tools appear different enough from what we typically categorize under early humans. These findings provoke questions about who these toolmakers were and what happened to them. Consider the Denisovans, a mysterious group of ancient humans who lived around Central Asia. They interbred with ancestors of some modern humans, contributing to the gene pool, much like their Neanderthal cousins. But what's more interesting is that in 2018, researchers discovered evidence suggesting Denisovans may have crafted jewelry and other artifacts, presenting signs of cognitive skills previously not attributed to them. Similarly, an even more ancient lineage might have once thrived in parts of the world, like the archaic Homo floresiensis, often nicknamed the Hobbits. These small hominins inhabited the island of Flores in Indonesia and wielded simple stone tools about 100,000 to 60,000 years ago. Their small stature and distinct anatomy suggest a unique evolutionary path, one that diverged from known human ancestors. Let's not forget the theories emerging around ancient caves inhabited for thousands of years. Some archaeologists are investigating caves in South Africa where traces suggest other activities, like painting and the possible creation of symbolic figures, much older than records of human art. Could these be remnants of an intelligence far removed from our own forebears? As we dive into the geological record, layered sediments sometimes reveal ancient plant and animal fossils shared dramatically among species. Certain climate and environmental changes might have influenced these ancient, intelligent beings, providing opportunities or necessitating adaptations that pushed their intellectual development. Imagine, too, the tantalizing possibility that these other intelligent beings could communicate in ways completely unknown to us. Though we might not find direct evidence of a written language, decorations, motifs, symbols, or even dance rituals portrayed in surviving artifacts suggest a communication system possibly as complex as early human language. Some experts propose looking at animal models to understand the potential of intelligence among different species. Take dolphins, elephants, and certain birds like crows and parrots. See examples of complex social behavior and problem-solving skills. If these creatures demonstrate such abilities today, it isn't a stretch to consider ancient species had the potential to achieve similar cognitive milestones. As archaeologists, geneticists, and other scientists continue piecing together these fragments from the past, new technologies, such as advanced DNA sequencing and carbon dating, provide powerful tools to revise our understanding of pre-human history. These innovations allow for the examination of older samples, possibly reviving creatures hidden for eons, not in myths, but in scientific reality. This journey through time serves as a reminder of our own place in the history of Earth. We stand on the shoulders of countless generations of life forms, all contributing in their way to the rich tapestry of evolution. Could some forgotten whisper of their intelligence still echo in the diversity of thought and culture we see today? It's a thought-provoking notion, emphasizing how much more there is for us to learn about the rise of brains long lost to time. Such a pursuit doesn't merely adjust a few dates in the timeline. It encourages us to comprehend the subtleties of intelligence, acknowledging that it's not an attribute held solely by humans. As we search for answers, we might uncover not just a celebration of intelligence past, but the space we occupy within that remarkable continuum. After all, understanding these forgotten minds adds depth and knowledge, highlighting how far we have come and how connected we are to every step of life's astonishing journey on our planet.